Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO, and today we're looking at the M4A3E8, and this is a subscriber replay. This is Slowbur65, as he's known on YouTube, or War9 as he is called in World of Tanks. And he's part of the clan called F'd Up. At least I'm assuming that's what it's called. I'm just going to guess that there because that's just me looking at it as a glance. So, the M4A3E8. This tank here, this thing is pretty much the Cromwell before the Cromwell. Back in the day, this thing was the original quick medium tank with the ridiculous rate of fire, but a lot of its popularity was stripped away whenever the Cromwell was introduced because the Cromwell was just faster, it had a higher penetration gun, was a little more consistent, had a little bit better accuracy, about the same amount of time, so it didn't really matter too much about the reduced rate of fire because you could actually fully aim your shots, whereas with this tank here, one of its primary features, well, you can, I would probably describe it as a disadvantage. One of its primary disadvantages is that its aiming time is slower than its rate of fire. That's how ridiculous this tank's rate of fire is. It's actually, wow, that was a really close shot that almost didn't hit that guy. And this Type 64 is getting absolutely shredded. Holy crap. Like, see how quickly this gun is able to shred tanks which have crap armor? It just demolishes them. And honestly, what I would recommend, if you're in a tank that has less than, say, 70 front armor, like well, no, 70, what am I talking about? Less than 130 effective front armor, just run from an Easy 8, because the Easy 8 will just demolish you. It really, really will. I mean, this VK, that guy, he gets off pretty lucky because Slowbur here gets a little unlucky with RNG when he's firing at this guy, and the shots just go to the right of him for the last two shots he fires at him. But you can just see how mega the rate of fire is on this tank. It's crazy. And one thing you always have to take into account with these high rate of fire machines is they're very good at doing module damage, because if you think about it, that means like the more often you're penetrating a target, the more likely you are to hit a critical module and do damage to it. So these tanks are very, very good at doing like ammo rack damage, crew damage, stuff like that. They're very, very good at. Here we're about to see the T-34-100. T-34-100, thinking of it, was actually one of my favorite Tier 7 medium tanks to play. It actually kind of replaced the Panther for me. But here we're going to see a little bit more of the unlucky RNG when it comes to this gun. Because you pretty much just have to fire as fast as you can, pretty much, and just hope for the best. Because this thing here, you're not going to consistently penetrate every shot. If you do, you're going to do a gigantic amount of damage. But this tank, it works more on volume of fire rather than consistent penetrations. Like, that's honestly the way I think of this tank. Like, just fire as much, like, throw as much shit at the wall as you can, and hope some of it will stick. It's pretty much the story of this tank's life. And then we're seeing the VK3001D poke his side out again, and he gets another shot into him. But now he's going to focus Type 64 and try and demolish him. He's a little unlucky with the gun depression there, and he starts looking up there. I'm not entirely, I think he got spooked by something, or maybe he was thinking the IKV could be over there. Actually, yeah, that's a good thought. He may have thought the IKV was over to the backside there, but then T21 moves forward and starts firing shots off, and he doesn't get shots, so he moves up to try and do some damage here. And here you can see on the map the IKV is relocating, and that's how quickly that guy just lost his life. And actually, quick thing I'm just going to mention, like there's a Type 64 right there. I feel like it's a good time to mention this. So with tanks that have guns bigger than 76mm, like not including 76mm by the way, so like 85mm and up pretty much, I would typically recommend you fire HE at these things, because you're going to be able to potentially, like, let's see, 180, 180, 180. So that's about 540 damage with AP rounds. If you fire HE rounds, you're pretty much guaranteed to kill them in 3 shots, I think. Whereas with AP rounds, it's more of a 3 potentially, but more than likely going to be 4 shots thing. And with 90mm, when it comes to facing off against Hellcats and stuff, I always fire HE at them, because they think those things have worthless armor, and it's very easy to kill them in like 2 shots. Not really applicable to this tank here, and here you're about to see the IKV being as useless as ever. And That scared the shit out of me when I was first playing this game. I did not see that Jagdpanzer IV coming. He just appeared from nowhere, and I just saw the explosion. I was like, "What the hell? Artillery? Did the artillery fire that shot?" But then no, it was this guy here. He just appeared randomly, and then completely ignored the easy hit with the ridiculous rate of fire. I really don't know what that guy was thinking, but you can just see how quickly this thing is able to output the damage whenever it's able to just keep that gun singing. It's genuinely immense just how powerful this gun can be if you're able to just keep it firing, and it's just going to do so much damage so quickly. And then when we're coming over here, he knows the T-34-100 was last spotted over here somewhere, and let's see, will he find him? He's been very, very cautious, and I don't blame him. Up, there's T-34-100. This is perfect timing. T-34-100 decides to aim one shot off, and no other tier 6 I can think of in the game could have possibly killed that guy there. The only other one I can think of actually is the Jumbo, but I count that in the same boat because it's exactly the same gun. But no other tier 6 medium tank gun would have had the rate of fire to kill that guy there. Not even the F-43 76mm, which actually has less pen than this, could have made all those shots go off and actually kill that guy off. So that's just another example. And here, this guy, this is where he shows some pretty good awareness here, because he immediately ducks behind cover after killing the T-34-100. I'm assuming that was probably because of artillery. But see, that's something I wouldn't have even thought of. So this guy's situational awareness, I would actually say it's probably better than mine, because he, like you saw over the course of this replay, he would spin the camera around and look behind him and just check his corners pretty much constantly. So this guy's situational awareness is on like another level. And the fact that he immediately ducked behind cover as soon as he killed that T-34-100 off, I'm assuming it was because of the artillery, because I can't really think of any other reason. Like that shows you, like, this guy is really aware of his surroundings and just does not like take anything for granted, doesn't take any chances. And here's past the M12. The M12 I think is looking this direction, so he's kind of moving diagonally to try and avoid him getting shot. And will he get the kill on this guy? No. Artillery denies it. So this guy ended up with Slober here ended up with 1,000 spotting damage, 2,532 damage done, and yeah. I don't think in any other tier 6 medium could you have done that, because another thing I actually forgot to mention was this thing has 12 degrees of gun depression, so it was able to work that ridgeline he spent most of his game at there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is this ridgeline here, where he spent the majority of his game, and this ridgeline here, he was able to work those ridgelines far better than he would have potentially been able to in most other scenarios with any other tank. I mean, to put it in perspective, this thing has 12 degrees gun depression with the 76mm. With the Cromwell, you had 8 degrees gun depression, so you would not have been able to make half those shots that he was able to make in this game. Just going to quickly summarize what I was initially saying. In the actual video, I rambled for like another 4 minutes, so I'm just going to summarize all those things in just hopefully under a minute. So basically what I was saying is this tank has 12 degrees of gun depression, the STRV has 15, but this tank makes up for it in the fact that it's actually overall more mobile, and in terms of armor, this thing is vastly superior to the STRV, which has, like, I think the maximum armor thickness on the STRV-74 is actually like 45 or 50 or something like that there, which is pretty worthless if I'm completely honest. Meanwhile, the Easy it's actually got sloped, I think 64mm of armor or something like that there, and it's also got a pretty solid turret and mantlet. So yeah, overall I would say the Easy it's probably the more versatile of the two vehicles, considering it's a little faster, and it's also got the turret armor to actually be able to take a couple hits, whereas at the STRV-74, if you get hit, you're pretty much going to take damage guaranteed, from my experience at least. And also, don't forget about the part to weight ratio on this tank. The 17 part to weight ratio is pretty monstrous in this tank. It's able to just climb hills really, really well, which you might be thinking, like, well, duh, it's a medium tank. But there are tanks, like, as an example, the Rudy, which do kind of struggle with hills. It's alright in, like, level terrain and going downhill and stuff. Like, it's completely fine when doing that there, but as soon as it comes to climbing the hill, it takes its sweet time. But yeah, let's go on to the actual post-game stats themselves. So in this game, Slover earned an ace tanker, or War 9. I'm probably just going to call him War 9 from this point forward because that's how he's actually called uh, in the actual game. So War 9 achieved an ace tanker. He got a Confederate medal and a high caliber medal with 33,091 credits made, 1,322 XP earned. So pretty damn solid result for a tier 6 medium in a tier 8 game. Actually, that's something I forgot to mention. Like, honestly, I did he even face a single tier 8 in that game? So I still genuinely do not understand the bitching about meeting tier 8s and tier 6s as an example. So yeah, let's go on to the team scores. So War 9 came top of the team in terms of damage, and I accidentally arranged it by damage instead of arranging it by XP. But you can see that he did come top on XP earned with over 1300, and top on damage with over 2500. And the next closest on either team was the Nashorn, which is kind of bizarre because I actually kind of struggled in the Nashorn, if I'm completely honest. I didn't have particularly good matches in that tank, but that guy there clearly managed to do something that I wasn't able to do. But yeah, I think that may have just been because I was playing a bit too aggressively in that particular tank. So yeah. And in terms of the actual team like in both teams in terms of XP, the top tank on both teams in terms of raw XP were tier 6 mediums. The VK3001D on the enemy team, and War 9 here in the Easy 8 on his team. So yeah, pretty damn solid result for the tier 6s, and I'm actually looking there at the team scores. The STRVS1 must have come face to face with the Ferdinand or something because he only got 2 shots off and he died very, very quickly. And the thing is, with the STRVS1, and the reason I ended up not getting it is because that tank I think only has like 1,000 health, and that tank is extremely fragile versus vehicles which have bigger than 90mm guns. That tank just has literally no armor to those giant guns. So yeah. And even things like the Constructor, as an example, is just able to overmatch those things like there's no tomorrow. I mentioned the Constructor; he had a pretty decent game. Not the best game on the enemy team. That would probably still go over the 3001D, considering he was tier 6 and he did only 200 less damage than him. So yeah, kind of spent a wee bit too much time on this probably. So let's go on to the actual detailed report. So he fired 33 shots, 26 direct hits, 22 penetrations, 2,500 damage total, as you already know, 1,020 damage with War 9's assistance, 33,091 credits made in that game. Well, pre auto repair and auto resupply. It was down to 20,277 post those things, and 66 free XP made with 1,322 XP actually earned in that particular game. So overall, I think this was a pretty damn good showing for the Easy 8, considering the Easy 8's honestly a pretty rarely seen machine these days. People don't really play the Easy 8 itself. Most people, like honestly, I did kind of see a brief resurgence in the Easy 8 whenever it was HDified, but after that brief resurgence, that tank it's basically died off again. But I can kind of see why, but I can also see why people would really like it at the same time, because it is pretty damn mobile. It's honestly the best way to describe this vehicle is probably the jack of all trades, master of rate of fire. That's pretty much like the way you would probably describe this tank. Master of rate of fire, and second only to the SDRV-74 in terms of gun depression. It is a really solid machine. It's just kind of underrated in general by the actual player base itself. And it's kind of sad, really, but it also kind of makes sense when you have things like the Cromwell and the T-3045 competing against it, which have higher alpha guns with higher penetration and just overall more consistent guns, whereas this thing here is more of like a throwing up shit at the wall, and eventually some of it will stick kind of vehicle. Kind of like the what's the other tank that I usually use as an example for this? It's kind of like things like the T-34, or no, not T-34. It's not T-34. I was thinking of. I think it's the Matilda. And the Matilda gets a 2-pounder, which fires faster than it aims. It's kind of like that, but it has speed instead of being slow as hell. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I really have to say. So just going to end this off by saying, If you have any replays you want to send to me, send them to DeanoGTO replays@gmail.com. And I forgot to actually say thanks Slober for sending this here to me so that I could showcase it on the channel. It was a really nice game to see, and honestly, I think this is on. I've actually honestly learned a couple of things from this here. I need to be a bit more aggressive in my easy it, rather than playing a bit more, rather than playing as campy as I typically do. I try to play really cautious in this tank, and I actually kind of learning that's probably not the right thing to do. So yeah, I'm gonna try that out, being a little bit more aggressive and all. And as I was saying, the replay address will be in the description. And yeah, if you have any replays you want me to showcase on the channel of your own, then send them to that address and I'll take a look at them. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.